Congressman Chip Roy from the Republic of Texas. He's like in between voting, in between different things today on the floor. And I first off, let me ask you, I wanted to get your reaction to this paying people who are crossing the border. And then I loved what you were talking with Kane about what the House Freedom Caucus is doing. I really chuckled at that. So I'm going to ask you about that. But first off, I wanted to get your reaction to this. So now, in addition to this, we're making this problem at the border worse because now, in addition to everything else, we're saying to come and you could get $450,000. That's amazing. Just come and get some free money.
Well, look, it's absolutely extraordinary. And as your listeners know, this administration has no intent on actually trying to secure the border. In fact, they're willfully choosing not to enforce our laws. I believe impeachably so. They could use Title 42. They're not. They could use migrant protection protocols the Trump administration were doing. They're not. They're actively avoiding a court order to do so. They're specifically not building the fence. They're letting parts rust in fields in Texas. And they've got to open basically a big neon sign on the border saying, come on in, say, claim asylum, and don't worry about it. We're going to just kick you into the United States under what they call parole, which is sort of a JV form of amnesty where you can work and then just stay in the country while you wait for your proceedings. So it's absolutely absurd. And so now you're going to we're going to pay people for coming here illegally. So you think that's not going to cause another rush to our border? And by the way, my veteran friends pointing out rightfully that we're paying people more than you pay those who gave their life for our country. It's absolutely absurd. But this is the current administration. And Governor Abbott, who you were playing, he's correct to be pushing back on what's happening here. And we need to be doing even more in Texas because I can tell you this administration's not going to.
Yeah, no, this definitely won't. And we have the right to be able to do certain things here in Texas, and we should be able. I mean, yes, it's the national border, but it's also a border. It also affects Texans almost immediately, especially those who live in the border, which is why you see a lot of these blue areas like Zapata County and others that are not really blue anymore. I mean, they're actually going red.
So Dana, Zapata last November went for Trump for the first time since 1920. It went for a Republican. We have a Republican mayor in McAllen, Texas. When I drove through Zapata with Ted Cruz about 5 weeks ago, there was a, how shall I put it, flag along the lines of "Let's go, Brandon," except it was in the more blunt form of it, and it was literally flying in the square in the middle of Zapata. And but that's look, we laugh, but it's actually really important. I was just doing a radio interview with a friend of mine, Sergio, down in the Rio Grande Valley.
He's our brother from another mother.
Absolutely. And we just had a great conversation, and he was asking about what we're going to do, that this is an invasion. And what I talk about up here when I'm on the floor of the House, my Democratic colleagues always want to say, well, this is about you not wanting brown people to be here. Well, go talk to the brown people in South Texas or the people whose family and their heritage, they're proud of it, but they're tired of the lawlessness and the cartels and the fentanyl and the danger. And, talk to them about what's really happening at the border. This isn't about brown people. This is about safety, security, sovereignty. And by the way, and this is important, exporting the rule of law to have a stronger Mexico and a stronger Western Hemisphere rather than importing lawlessness and fentanyl. And that's what the current administration is doing.
Okay, exactly. Well said. Also, Congressman, I have to ask you, because you were just what we were talking about here on break before you joined us. So the House Freedom Caucus, you have a bunch of things that because we were scheduling your interview and we were hoping you're going to be back in time to maybe do Skype, maybe it'd have to be a phone, or because you're voting. And the House Freedom Caucus is taking turns so that everything actually can't just sail through with a voice vote, which I think it's shocking to me that you were describing the links that you have to go through. I don't think people realize some of the stuff that actually happens in the nation's capital. Tell me what's happening today.
So normally what you have is you've got, votes. In fact, as I looked to the side, the votes were just called, but I'm fine. I got 20 minutes to get over there. So what happens is you have a rule in the House. They set a rule to move something that you call important or something that at least the majority thinks is important. They set that, and then there are votes, right? And you have to do all of the procedural stuff, and then you have, allegedly, you should have amendments and whatnot on the floor. We don't do that anymore. Essentially, they just set up for a vote, you vote yay or nay, and then you go give your speech. But in the process of doing that, in order to make everybody happy, they do what's called a suspension calendar, where they suspend the rules, and then they pass all this stuff that everybody loves to go home to their district and say, look what I did. I got a post office named, or I got this road thing construction, or I got an Indian tribe deal. So this week, we're dealing with all the Indian tribe stuff. So yet last night, so we have a schedule where Freedom Caucus members, we have to monitor the floor, and we stay down there whenever the floor is open. And whenever they try to move something by voice vote, no vote at all. It's a bill that would set up a whole like casino gaming operation, permissions and, grant more land or acreages to Native American, reservations. That would just go by voice if we didn't object and force a vote on it. So that's what we're doing. And so this afternoon, we're going to have 6 votes on various Indian reservation things. I believe we should vote on this stuff. You should put your name down, vote on it. And frankly, we shouldn't grease the skids to a Democratic Party that is refusing to secure the border, refusing to stand up against Iran, refusing to stand up against China, doing vax mandates, shutting down small businesses. Why should we grease the skids for them to pass this garbage? No, you got to use floor time to go do it.
No, I appreciate that you do that, and that's so significant because it's there's so many issues, not just the ones you're talking about today, where Democrats are like, oh, we're just going to have a voice vote for this, although they may not be able to call the shots anymore. Depending on how, a lot of these elections are going to be going, especially leading up to midterms. Before you go, and I know you're crunched on time, which is why we appreciate you joining us. I just kind of wanted to get your reaction to some of the changes in the voting and a political party layout. Like particularly, I know New Jersey's dealing with something right now, and that would be a huge upheaval if they have a Republican that wins on that. But in Virginia, this is a state that, right next to you right now in D.C., this is a state that went plus 10 to Biden not even a year ago, where there have been a number of elections since then. You've had some Republicans that have been elected. Now you have Youngkin and Terry McAuliffe, Beltway Barnacle, longtime Democrat mainstay, who are neck and neck. It's really driven by parents mad about vax mandates, mask mandates, CRT, and loss of student privacy. Just to get your quick reaction, because it really does seem like this is a parent-led revolution, and Democrats do not see the writing on the wall here.
No, this is exactly right. Nothing gives me more hope at the moment than the extent to which parents are waking up across America about what was actually been happening. And I think there's a blessing. Obviously, this virus has been devastating for a lot of people, loss of life, and it's obviously been politically contentious. But one upside is lifting the veil on our public school system, letting the American people see what their children have been being taught. And then when we go out and we highlight this critical race theory stuff, and Democrats, they go, oh, you guys are the ones trying to race bait. This is all about white supremacy. You're trying to turn this into race issues in Virginia. No. Democrats have nothing to run on except for their tired socialist policies and race baiting. That's all Democrats run on. I dare anybody to prove me wrong. Show me a single hearing, a single bill, anything that they don't do that is about tired socialism or race baiting. So now the American people are going, wait a minute, our kids are being taught what? They're being taught that they should apologize for their race. They're being taught that, that critical race theory. They're being taught that these principles with respect to, going back in the Marxist tenets about that this is all about the white privilege, right? That you've got because you were born in America. That's white privilege. They're being taught this stuff over and over again. Then you see it explode in Loudoun County because Terry McAuliffe says, no, we don't need to listen to parents. School boards are in charge of the school. Well, in Loudoun County, we saw what unfolded. We don't need to get into it here, but I actually went to high school in Loudoun County, Virginia. Wow. I'm appalled. This is why I asked the Attorney General. That's why I focused on this in the hearing 2 weeks ago and excoriated the Attorney General for targeting parents with the FBI after we know what happened to Scott Smith's daughter in that high school in Virginia, in Loudoun County. And then they let him out and they let that kid who wore a skirt into the girls' bathroom and raped that girl. Then he's back out and in Broad Run High School assaulted another girl just a few weeks ago. Parents are sick of it. They want to be back in control. They're going to the polls. And we just got to pray that Virginians, the sensible Virginians, will carry the day. And we'll be watching closely tonight. And I hope so.
Boy, oh boy, a lot of stuff to watch. We have a municipal election, another school board race in my town. So It's all over. I'm telling you what, it could be very interesting stories tonight.
South Lake and what happened last year was a roadmap for America and figuring out what we can do to have, Republicans or frankly, just I don't care what party you're in, somebody rational and sane in the school board that's going to stand up for parents.
Got another school board seat up for election today, so everybody needs to be getting out and voting. Congressman Chip Roy, we appreciate you taking some time to join us. Go vote. Go vote. Go. Thank you for representing our republic, and we'll catch up again soon. God bless.
God bless you, Chris, and your whole family. Y'all take care.
Thank you. You too. Thanks so much, sir.